found this little button up here, which if you hover over it, it says begin quick render. Quick render performs a render without having to manually configure a queue, a graph. A typical quick render uses the current map and level sequence. The level sequence's playback range and the viewport's look to generate frames. Several different types of quick renders are available. See the options dropdown. Now that's very interesting. If we go here to the quick render options, we get a whole bunch of information. Now, if we from the get-go change this to movie render queue, whenever we click on this begin quick render, it really won't be doing any quick render, since what it's doing is essentially turning on movie render queue, which is pretty much the same thing we would do if we go down here to the clacker and we turn on movie render queue. Now in this one, we see that our job is already here because we opened it from our open sequencer. But if we switch this to quick render, it's going to now, if I click on it, effectively create a quick render. But before we do that, let's check a couple more things here. We do have an output playlist render, output directory, and show settings before the quick render. But what we can do is go to quick render options. Now, this is a huge difference between this quick render button and movie render queue, because from default values, movie render queue does not use the new render graph systems, and the quick render button up here, from as far as I can see right now at least, it's currently only using the render graph, so it won't be doing anything else. Now, if you're wondering what a render graph is, this is a new system that was introduced a long time ago, I should say, and that gives us a graph. So a powerful way of doing new renders, and this is by default already set up. And what it's doing is essentially a couple of things that we always do: warm-up settings, global game overrides. It's switching a couple of output directories and output resolution to give us an ability to switch that variable ourselves. And then down here, by default, it was doing a JPG. This is like adding a node to anything else in either a material graph or a Niagara system graph or a blueprint graph, anything else. Just right click anywhere in the empty. And in this case, what I did was going for Apple ProRes to get the movie. I didn't even need to enable the plugin for Apple ProRes. So this seems to have been on by default in at least 5.6 preview. We could actually go ahead and check it out to edit plugins and then go for Apple Pro. Yes, effectively, this was enabled by default in Unreal Engine 5.6. The one thing I would say is 422LT is currently being very, very buggy if you're using VLC to do the playback. So what I would do is, by clicking on the node here, switch to 4444. And this renders out correctly. Now, this is one of the many render layers that we can do in the render graph. So render graph for compositors, very, very strong, very interesting to play around with. So let's go ahead and save this, and let me show you what this guy can do. The other thing I changed was after render, what to do. So by default, it was playing the render output, which might be interesting, do nothing, or open the render output directory, which is what I set. And then we could obviously change where that render output is and what the output resolution is going to be. Now, just click on it, and it actually renders out something. So very boring render, so I'm just going to cancel this out. And let's do some sort of animation. Hopefully nothing changed that much here. And now that we have this little animation, let's go ahead and click on our new button, quick render. And voila, it's magic. It's going to compile shaders for whatever reason. We've been compiling shaders since we opened Unreal Engine 5.6. No setting up of movie render queue, no setting up of a render graph, no setting up of anything. It's a quick render. Visually great to do quick iterations. That's awesome. That's something I actually teach to my students. And the best thing is it's now opening automatically my output directory. So if I double click on this, voila, magic. So quick preview, one of the first previews I'm doing on Unreal Engine 5.6. We're going to talk a lot more about it, about this little button here, begin quick render.